History is being made in California today as the state's first in the nation Reparations Task Force is set to present its monumental final report. Now, that report will summarize how California has contributed to racial injustice as a result of the lingering effects of slavery. It'll also propose a series of fixes to reverse the harms done to the African American community. NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin joins us now with a preview. Dana, good morning. So, first of all, what do we know about the final report that's being released today and the policies that are being recommended by the task force?
Joe, good morning. So that report may look similar to the interim report that was released in May, some 500 pages. Some estimate that it could be twice as big. But in that recommendation, we've actually got a graphic to pull up so you can see some of the things that they are recommending. We know that the cash reparations has been the big headline grabber, an estimated $1.2 million, according to economists that have worked on this proposal. But the task force really wants to hone in on the fact that there are several other things that are also being recommended, including approving a state apology for racism, adopting a K through 12 Black Studies curriculum. They want to ban cash bail and actually reimburse those that have been exonerated. They want to provide housing grants in formerly redline neighborhoods and expand resources for children in foster and kinship care. They also want to declare Election Day a paid state holiday and establish the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency. That will be the state-run organization that helps to move reparations along if they decide, especially to go with the cash reparations, because for the Reparations Task Force, they want to make it lineage-based, which means every Black American in California, or every Black California may not receive payment because they have to be a direct descendant of an enslaved person. And just through the stories that we've done and the research that we've done, it takes a lot of time, effort, and money to do that. So that's one of the big concerns as to whether or not the cash reparations part of all of this, Joe, will actually come to fruition.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the big questions. You pointed out there are so many recommendations, but it is the cash reparations that do get a lot of the attention. Do we have an idea at this point how much the task force is recommending and when Black Californians would expect to see those payments?
Yeah, so again, one of the misconceptions is the task force is going to be recommending this $1.2 million. That's the number that economists have put out there. But they actually aren't going to put a dollar amount on it in this report because they want to leave that up to the state legislature to decide, which kind of puts the burden on the state to say, okay, we've looked at the recommendations. This is what could be owed when they think about all the data that they've collected and put it and the number that economists have put on, how much Black Californians are owed because of the enduring legacy, the enduring harms from the legacy of slavery. That could be $1.2 million. But I also want to show you something very interesting when it comes to the numbers, because right now, based on that number, for if every eligible Black California received that would be some $800 billion. Right now, the state budget heading into 2024 is slated to be some $300 billion. And right now, California is already trying to climb out of a $32 billion deficit. So many are scratching their heads wondering, how is the state going to pay for this? This is something that the legislature, again, would have to come up with. Some have said, they could pull from the general fund, maybe pull some 0.5% from that fund and kind of maybe save it. So
we provided cash payments to our Japanese brothers and sisters who were interned, I should say, during World War II. We found a way to do that. So if we're truly committed to righting this wrong, we can find a way to make payments. Maybe not at the amount that people would love to see, but we could make some kind of financial payment to individuals.
And so I think that's going to be the key here, is who's committed to actually seeing this happen. We've gotten a lot of cold responses from lawmakers, even Governor Gavin Newsom, who all say that they are waiting for this final report to come out before we get a sense on who's going to really back this and to see what bills come out of it, Joe. So it's a long road ahead to reparations here in California.
Yeah, so they're all waiting. Once that report is released, what do we expect to happen?
So once that report is released, it officially goes to the legislature. They will probably take the summer to look over it. Their session adjourns in September. So, there have been some talks of trying to push this through quickly to try to see what bills could be introduced. But it likely won't happen until 2024. The next session begins in January. But the worry here is this going to lose steam? Again, because you've got the factor of how the state is going to pay for it. And again, the Assembly, the Senate, they can decide to adopt all of these recommendations. They can adjust a little bit, or they can dismiss them. And even once it's approved by both houses, you still got one last hurdle, which is the governor's signature. And at this point, we still don't know which way he's going to lean, Joe.
All right, Dana Griffin reporting from Los Angeles. Dana, thank you so much.